welcome to the School Run. I'm Jane.
And I'm Liv.
And we are going to share with you the best conversations we have on our school run.
We will invite guests and debate topics that affect and resonate with every generation.
We all remember our own school run, so maybe have a think about yours.
What do you remember?
Hello and welcome to another episode of the School Run podcast. It's absolutely amazing, the journey we have been on since February 2023. Every day is a school day, and I am really privileged to be joined by my now 16-year-old daughter on this School Run podcast together. We started it in February 2023 when Liv was just 15 years old. We had a really long journey to school, about an hour and a half from Leyland to Clitheroe, up in Lancashire in England. And we used to have great, insightful chats. So we just decided to make them a time capsule and put them onto a podcast and invite brilliant guests to join us on our School Run chat. And so this week we are joined by the most amazing guests. Liv, how are you feeling about this one?
I'm very excited. I just want to say the funniest thing just happened. We recorded like 15 minutes of us chatting, and I look over and the microphone wasn't working, so we had to restart.
Okay, so we've had to restart this episode. It's never happened with a guest before, but it has happened with me and Liv.
I'm on mute already. I've not even started.
It's absolutely brilliant. We're joined today by Paul Palmer from P&J Palmer. He is hair designer, hair stylist,
Hairdresser.
Guru, hair guru.
Masterpiece creator.
And he has been my hairdresser for over 20 years, or give or take a few months on that. And I'm really privileged to have him on our School and chat. He obviously knows Liv. He knew Liv from being a baba, someone in my tummy that I was growing at one point. I remember him getting married. We've been through everything together. And in a very, I would say, female-dominated career, I think it's going to be really insightful to hear Paul's story and how he navigates it. So thank you for joining us, Paul.
Jane, Liv, great to be here again.
Where do we start? I think I'm going to go with why I chose you as a hairdresser.
Okay.
So it was a mutual person in business that recommended you at that point.
Yeah.
I came along and we sat down and you just approached my hair in a completely different way, but you also approached me in a totally different way. I'll let you say about the approach you take at first. But for me, I'd been going to different hairdressers in different parts of the country through my life. And I just didn't really get on with the sort of, are you going out this weekend? Is that why you're getting your hair done today? Are you going on holiday? Where were you going on? This kind of what I would call superficial level of chat.
Yeah.
And also in an environment where other people could overhear my conversations or whatever.
Plus, you're there for a long time. Well, you're there for a long time.
2.5 hours. I mean, but you've always told me that you'd never be able to afford to pay your family off for your family from me because I don't come that often.
You got better as years going on. You got better.
I think it's because of the grey hair, not anything else.
Yeah, someone put in the dark.
But tell me your approach. What was that when someone sits in your chair? What makes that experience different coming to you?
Well, I don't know if it does or if it doesn't. It's what's natural to me is to ask or find out about you. Not Love Island, not whatever, like menial, like chit chat. Because that's just not important. That's just like filler crap, innit? Filler.
Mm. Yeah, and, you can say that. It's okay.
Oh, bad start already. So the filler stuff that you put in there is no more for when, like, I think it's when you're nervous and you don't really know what you're doing, which you will do in the beginning anyway. You know, when you're first starting any career, you're trying to feel your way into it. Your nerves kicking in, but it's so important that when you meet someone, you meet them, the person, and the likes and dislikes, them as people, how often they come to the salon, how much time they must spend with you. Some people might come in and say, the mutual person we met used to come in twice a week for the hair doing. But you only want to come in every whatever it was, 8, 12 weeks, whatever it were. And so you're going to make the hair fit that person, make sure it fits their lifestyle and their expectations. Also things like fitting, say, the budget and what they're prepared to spend there. So you try and create an all-round picture before you can create anything at all, and make sure those expectations are realistic.
And also for me and my hair, there'd been some bad experiences in terms of colour. Yeah. And it was important to me, having gone through the Colour Me Beautiful process, having gone through tonal shades of what suits your skin tone, eye colour, hair colour, eyebrows, to make sure I was operating within the right spectrum of hair colour.
I think you should describe what your hair looks like so that people can't see us in this podcast. You can only hear us.
Of course. So I'm sort of, I don't know, well, Paul will describe what kind of colour of hair.
Yeah, he's probably better.
He's probably better at doing that. But at the time, I think I was very, very, very blonde, very highlighted. And you explained to me, Jane, if you want to be here every 4-5 weeks, that's absolutely fine. But my lifestyle, I didn't want that because I'm a really busy businesswoman and I needed, I want my hair to look great, but I need it to be manageable. I
mean, that's where you go back to all the setting expectations to that point of being realistic. Like, you wanted, well, your hair was blonde and like say 4 or 5 weeks would be great, but like your lifestyle, as you just mentioned, was like, I think about 12 weeks-ish, but you wanted to be there. So that meant you were in on ballpark from day one. So if you're in on board part from day one, then for me to say to you, we can do this, and just lie to your face, which with filler stuff we just talked about, where you're just doing whatever people want because you're nervous and you just want to make people happy. So that way I'll be doing you a disservice and lying to myself and to you face to face that it's going to be great, we'll keep you blonde, you're doing the right thing, all that stuff. But really, you want to know what should I be doing to hit this target, which is it's why you go back to the want to know about people's lives and that the maintenance, how much time you spend in it. I bet we still probably ask, even though we've known each other for years and years and years. But I bet the basis of each conversation probably starts the same anyway, even now. The basis of it is, tell me about your hair. It's not like, tell me about Liv, even though I know Liv really well. Yeah. It's actually, tell me about your hair first. First, it's got to be the key thing, and then we can then build from that, even to this day.
And you do. That's the very first question. You put the gown on and sit down and you go, so tell me about your hair. And normally I've got my laptop open and I've got my head in it and go, just do whatever you think.
Just do it. That's 16, 17 years into it. And off we go. That trust has been built.
But that's true. So you were looking at where what tones, what suits my skin tone, you understood the colour, the shading. So even if I'd asked to go purple or, I don't know, copper streaks, you'd have gone, Jane, that's not going to work with your colouring.
If it works for you, but you've also got to bear in mind sometimes, you've not been here yet, Liv, I'm sure you will do one day, but what sometimes happens is, and this might have happened to you when you were younger, is you might have had an experience where you get the wrong tone of colour on your hair, so that scares you off all colours to do with that shade. Like say, you could have, say, your hair colour red, or your definition of red might be different to mine. I might know a red. There's certain tones of red that probably will suit you, but you've had a fluorescent red post-box experience once upon a time. It's scared the living daylights out of you since. So copper's a big no-go, when really it might be an orangey copper that's great on you, not pillar box red. Likewise, if you had orange and bright orange does not work for you, plum might look amazing, but you're scared off it straight away. So that's where the tones come into it.
And the other thing is, if you don't show me a big book of tonal colours, which I'd been used to for years previously, with all the little samples of hair, on which one are you wanting, I trusted you.
But why would you do that with someone, like with a professional? Why would you come to a professional in anything and you make the choice?
Yes, that doesn't make sense.
But it happens.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. I've seen it happen 1,000 times over, even in places where I've worked in the past. So again, that's the confidence thing. Like, if you're going to professional for something, you're going to them for advice. You're not going there to pick whatever it is you want, you know, you're going there for their advice and their opinion, and ultimately that's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that.
I agree with that. I was just thinking in my head, it's like, you don't go to the doctor and tell them what medication to give you. You listen to what they say.
Not unless you've been on Google. If you've been on Google, then you know the answer to it.
You know the answer.
But I see, what if you come in for your hair colouring or be in any industry at all, give or take one or two, you're asking for an expert's opinion. So why would they show you the book, in my case, and let you choose the colour? What I want to know is what kind of colours do you feel comfortable with, and then make that fit you, if possible. If not, then we'll go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And I also love the fact that in your salon, and I've followed you in your different salons, you've had different ones at different times. It's a very unique space. It's very personable. It's private. There's not lots of people all around listening to our conversation or getting involved or overhearing, or it's a very private space. And I actually know for years and years and years, because you get to know this, that anything I've ever shared with you from a personal point of view has never gone any further. And that sat very comfortable with my own personal value of integrity, and is important to me.
Yeah.
And I only found out that some of my friends perhaps came to you when I'd seen a post or something more publicly that they put on, and suddenly you never 100% let those lines be crossed. And I actually feel that might be an unusual characteristic, but a very important one for someone in your profession.
I don't know, but it's very natural for me, because that's also part of my personal priorities, where is it like privacy. Like, you shouldn't have me blabbing about you. Likewise, you shouldn't blab about me. Like, there's no saying in there, like, you know, we're not even all saying, like, you know how someone speaks to you about others, how they're going to speak about you when their back's turned. You know, it's such a real thing. So, you know, in some cases, when it comes out down the line, we might have conversations, because we work out we've got those mutual things, but it shouldn't be from me. You know, a couple of Liv's friends came in to tell them, but Liv only found out that about them when she found out about them. You know, it's not from me. So that's where it should be. It's like the privacy is so important. Like, some of the things you find out about people's lives can literally probably ruin other people's lives and ruin their lives. If you start gossiping about something you've heard about someone, that might actually mean, it doesn't generally that way, but it might mean a marriage breakdown that becomes of some gossip and hearsay, or a story that's been told third hand that such somebody's heard this about them, so it must be true because the hairdresser said it. It's just not, is it?
But it's interesting, isn't it? A lot of people are involved in other people's business, and actually you need to stay out of other people's business.
Yeah.
But actually in that space, you're not in my business, I'm not in your business. It's a sharing, but it's an understanding that what it's in the chair stays in the chair.
Yeah, like it's like being in doctor surgery. In theory, you know, it's that same privacy and exclusivity, where that's what's in there should stay in there, unless, you know. Yeah,
it's important. Any questions for Paul so far?
Any questions so far? I mean, Paul's now my hairdresser. Well, because I wanted him to be. Because all the hairdressers, I am very thick. I've been told by a lot of hairdressers, if you don't know what me and my mum look like, we look very different. My mum's got like dark, very curly hair, and I'm blonde and straight and thick. So my hair, it's always been long and thick, and it's a faff, and I hate doing it, and I never wash my hair, and I shouldn't say that because you're a hairdresser, but I probably don't look after it very well. But I was the same. I had a hairdresser, and it was all right, but when I sat in the chair, I was just like, there was a lot of awkward silences between her not talking to me, and I was like, what do I say? No, I don't really know. And I was just like sat there, just like, when's it over? When's it going to be over? Which is why I then came to Paul instead, and we just chatted and laughed the whole time. And then I put you on my TikTok, and you got like 2,000 views.
No way!
You really? Actually did, yeah. Wow. Everyone put in the comments, he's such a vibe, and I was like, yeah,
vibe. Such a vibe.
I know, they were like, he's an icon. I was like, I know he's an icon.
An icon. Love it.
That's what they said about you.
Oh, my head's getting bigger.
Yeah.
And it's massive already.
So, and I suppose with your hair, you wanted a certain style. You showed me a picture. Maybe that's quite common. Do people come in with a picture that they've cut out of a magazine and they want to emulate that?
Yeah. They might like, a lot of the times, like, it's like, they might come in with a picture from a magazine and it'll be like totally pointless bringing the picture in. You know, it's great. Like, sometimes looking at the person, not the hair. You know, they want to look like, say, Victoria Beckham, they look like whoever else it may be. They want to look like, rather than, I like this haircut. You know, so as long as it's relevant to them, then it's all right. But usually they do come in with naff pictures.
And I think you'll tell them.
Yeah, but it's my job, isn't it? You know, like you see, it's not going to be for you, and then the answer's just no, isn't it?
Because your face shape is this way, or your neck, or your stature, or your lifestyle, or what you're wanting to achieve is not.
Back to those first questions, you know, tell me about your life, you know, how do you maintain your hair, or those kind of things. You know, it's great having this wonderful picture from a magazine that's had a stylist do there for 2 hours or whatever it is. But yet you're going to want to look at this every single day of your life, and you might wash hair once a week. It just doesn't fit. Mm-hmm. So you might take something from that picture maybe and then translate that into something that does fit you and your life and your lifestyle. So it's having, again, the realistic expectations of what it is you're trying to achieve.
Have you got a lot of long-standing customers? What's the...
Mum just wants to be the longest standing one.
She's like, you want to be the longest, but you're not there yet. I was thinking this the other day about long-standing
He told me
customers.
I was second longest standing, but I don't think
you are. No, I don't think you are. There's just so many people who's ever done for years, and I think it then goes back to that trust thing. You know, where you find a hairdresser you like and you kind of stick with them for a long period of time, you become part of the family and the circle and the rest of it. But there's so many people who's ever done for a long period of time. And again, it's such a privilege, isn't it? I don't know if we've covered this already, but we did kind of cover it earlier, but where you're part of someone's life. And you're part of someone's family, an extended family, you're knowing all about them and their history and so on like that. So,
and the events they're going to and the things that they're going through, like you said, you know, Liv was a baby in my tummy. You watched that. You watched me get married the first time. You looked at you saw my different relationships in and out, the growth of little voices.
What a growth.
Yeah.
What a growth. It's not bad, is it?
No, but you've seen me work hard through that, haven't you? Well,
Still, yeah. Round the clock, 24/7, head on laptop, from day one. You know, it was all consuming. It's been amazing to see. Amazing.
I have some questions.
Go.
They're in my head. Right, my third. It's a question, but there's things attached to the question.
Micro questions.
Yeah, it will make sense. So, first, how did you get into hairdressing? Because I think there's two stereotypes about hairdressers. One is that it's all females, well, not all females, but mostly female hairdressers.
Yeah.
And the second is that...
That's a fair stereotype, that.
Yeah, and the second one, in like school or college, sometimes they say, you know, if you haven't like done well or don't have the grades, then just go and do like beauty or hair or something like that. Like if you've not, basically like if you're not intelligent, then go and do hairdressing or go and do paint nails or something like that. That's my question. And what did people think about you becoming a hairdresser?
Well, you're proper right with the whole stereotypical thing. Like, generally, you're filled with people who do sometimes have lesser qualifications at school and so on, which is really unfortunate because we need great hairdressers and need so on. And it is largely female dominated, but I think that changes as the years go on, as you go on through the years.
Can I just say that actually, if you are a hairdresser and then you go on to, you know, run your own set of clients or run your own business, like huge levels of intelligence here needed, and that's not academia from school, and so there's a real disparity there, isn't there? Because there's so much that a hairdresser running their own clientele and their own business and blah blah blah. It's not. I don't know why that default happens at school.
Yeah, because it's like, it is a different level entirely. Like, I was quite a poor student. I was a poor student. And always wanting to do well, but you're easily distracted. Right? And so I didn't leave school with the grace of GCSEs. Or A levels, whatever we're on now, or different numbers.
Numbers. Yeah, they're on numbers now.
So there was no definitive route for me to go down in anything. I was turned down for a job to do it. My hairdressing to me is something I just fell into. I'm so lucky. I was turned down for a job in a light bulb factory, of all things, because I wasn't good enough. And also turned down of whatever reasons for the army, not quite the right fit there either. And I just literally went to college one day and fell into hairdressing. So it's taken this great path where you've got all these different people, you get to meet these crazy, amazing people. A privileged path where you meet some such wicked people, inspirational from top to bottom. But it's certainly not conventional. Go back to some of your questions, Oliver.
What did people think when we said you were going to be?
They called me every name you can think of.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I guess you male mates then.
Yeah.
Because we were born similar time, weren't we?
Yeah.
Late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah. We're aging ourselves. Yeah.
And so, the lad, it's a bit like the singing and drama thing. Boys were like, oh, you're not going to do singing and drama, are you? Like, to another lad, like, you're not going to do hairdressing. I suspect it was a similar thing.
That's just exactly what it was like. And you were just generally tarred in the same brush, like, oh, you must be thick, or you must be of a certain sexuality, or, you off you go do your thing. You're like, just discarded, not from life, but because of it, but from general, like, education and from just general life. People, full stop. But I was really lucky that I've always been really singular minded. It just didn't matter to me one bit. If I'm doing something, I'm doing it. I'm really, really doing it. And it consumes everything that I do. If I'm going to do something, there's just never been a point for me doing anything remotely average when you could just try a bit harder and be good at it. It just doesn't make sense at all.
I don't think it makes. That's like me, that.
Well, what difference does it make with a little bit more effort to what will be the outcome in life? What's the point of having like an average goal? Why not be an average hairdresser or average at something? Well, you might as well aim to be good at something or great at something. Yeah. And then those aims get higher as you go further on. You know what I think? So, in singing, you want to be a good singer. So you become a good singer, you aim to be a good singer. Then when you become a good singer, your aim becomes higher, your competence becomes higher, so the aim becomes higher still and becomes higher still. And you're also for always chasing something that's that next step or two up. Like you did it with netball, you're always chasing something that's that next level, Yeah,
and it's good because I guess the like reward is bigger, but then the risk is also bigger. And there's more like, if you fail, it's like, am I making sense?
Totally.
If you fail, it's like big, because like you were saying, you're a good singer and you keep going up and up and up. Say you get into like the West End, like from being a good singer, if you failed as a good singer, well then that's all right. Nobody really like knew. But if you're at the West End and you fail, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, I've really failed. But then if you get there, the reward's even bigger. So
how bad would it be though, to try to get that? Well, to not try to get it, to just try to be a singer and to achieve your goal.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point in an average goal?
Hi everyone, we hope you're enjoying this episode so far. We're just cutting in to say, if you're enjoying our podcast, please click the follow button on whichever platform you're listening on. And please leave us a review. We'd be so grateful for your support and feedback. Podcasts are free to listen to, but if you are loving our school run chats and debates, please consider buying us a virtual coffee. The link will be in the description of every podcast episode, and it will also be in the bio of our Instagram, which is @theschoolrun_. _official. And why not give it a follow while you're there so you can see all the updates and get sneak peeks at upcoming episodes. Thank you so much and happy listening.
So you hit the goal, you fell in love with hairdressing. And what was I suppose you worked in a salon first, and then what was the sort of pivotal moment to have your own?
There's a cool story. Cool. This is a bit cool. I fell into this job totally by accident. Like when I was younger, I was hanging around college, not knowing what I was going to do. And a friend of mine just says to me, "Oh, we've got tea and biscuits in our class." So that was it. I was up. Got up, out my chair, went through the college, sat down on this other course called Options. And on Options, I was supposed to be doing my GCSEs, but on Options, you tried different things, maybe a childcare, maybe a bricklaying, maybe joinery, beauty, whatever it was. But even then, that didn't quite pull me into hairdressing. I was playing football one day with my friend, and we just went play football, went into college, got our dinner, but then went to dinner again, Skiving College. And it was raining, so we went to the job centre. We're in the job centre. I pick up this white piece of card because I had to, because I'm in the job centre. So this talk about default and look. You pick up this white piece of card, you go to the desk, give it to the lady. She says, "Oh, apprentice hairdresser, £55 a week." You go, "Oh, all right." All right. Okay. So she picks up the phone, rings them up, and they're interviewing me at that moment in time. I'm wearing football gear, it's raining, I've got mud on me. Right? So they say, "We're interviewing right now. If you can go now, they'll give you an interview." So I rock up at the salon, and I walk in there. The staff look at me like, "Please don't have your haircut here." And I look at them and go, "I'm for an interview." Right? I'm here for an interview. They were expecting me. So they said to me, "Do you want a cup of coffee?" I'm like, "Yeah, please, yeah. Can I have white, 4 sugars, 3 sugars, something like that." And one biscuit, "Yeah, can I have 2? So they bring me this cup of coffee. Then I'm sat there having this drink, and they say, "Oh, they're ready for you upstairs now." So I go upstairs with my cup of coffee in the hand, because the great thing about anything is if you don't know the rules, you can break them. You don't know the rules. You don't know what the rules are. I've never been for an interview before. It's probably why I failed the interview at the light bulb factory. So I didn't even know the rules. So you go for this. So I won't go upstairs. I don't remember the conversation. I remember walking into this room. There's a chap there, Robert, interviewed me, and his general manager, Jane. They sat side by side. And they're asking me some questions. This bit, it's all sorts. This is amazing. We've moved several times when I was younger. I think when I was younger, I'm guessing we moved as a child maybe 20, 30 times. We never knew where we were going to be living, ever. Oh. And we didn't have a... So he says to me, after going back and forth with questions, "I've failed spectacular, covered in mud, rain, cup of coffee, drinking while speaking, no manners at all." But he said to me, "I now know what this means now. I'm sure you'll do too, right? We'll let you know. We'll let you know." So you can't let me know because I don't know where we live. We just moved. I don't know where we live. And you can't ring me to let me know. And I can't give me an address. If you don't give me the job, I'm going to go work a few doors down at Night Whispers. So I kind of turned the interview around totally, and it said. So I've gone in there being interviewed and then being ushered out the door quietly to me saying, "Give me the job, I'm going down the road." Because I don't know the rules. So probably the first time they've ever asked that, so they just looked at me and just went, "Start on Monday?" And that was it. So I'm straight in there. And that was the moment when I was such a nervous boy. I'm a nervous, shy person from a back end nowhere in Burnley. And all of a sudden, my life's taking this twist where I'm in this top-end salon. Well, for Burnley, it's top-end salon. Accidentally, wearing football gear, but
about to earn £55 a week.
About to earn £55 a week. All the money in the world. And then that then became a bit of an obsession, like anything. And you then go in there, and I felt total out of place for the first few months and so on. And then later was that then became as you learn a bit more, you become a bit more competent. Then when you become a bit more competent, it becomes a bit of a passion, and the passion becomes all consuming, and the cycle then kicks in and continues. And you're then forever chasing something that's that next level up and next level up and next level up. For a cup of coffee with 3 sugars.
Football kit. That's a brilliant story, and I didn't know it.
No, yeah.
No, I didn't.
Well, what you see? Where is it?
Every day's a school day. You learn something every single day. I think what's lovely about it is that you, at that point, looking back on it, were authentically you. You just led with your heart. You can't get hold of me. You can't. So you're going to have to tell me now whether you want me or not.
They generally couldn't get on me, though. Like, I generally did not know my address. We did not have a phone line. If anyone ever rang me, they used to ring me at mate's house, Richard Down Road. So I knew his phone number. His mum got more phone calls for me than she did for Richard. So it was just like, case, if you don't tell me now, I suppose, like, I'm quite naturally an instinctive person. If I'm going for a job in a hair salon, I'm clocking every salon I'm walking past. I know it's on my radar all of a sudden, because I've never been in this world before, but it's now about to be in my world, so I'm just clocking things instinctively. So it then became natural to this. Well, I need an answer now, otherwise I'm just going to go there.
Yeah. So how long were you at that salon, and what happened next?
Not long at all. Not long at all. I ended up leaving there because I was kind of let me think. I was there for probably about, say, 6-7 months, and then I got a more exciting opportunity. It wasn't more exciting, but it was. I ended up in a salon in Manchester where I accidentally was sat next to the bloke who owned that particular franchise. In hindsight, a bald chap in glasses in a salon on King Street in Manchester is a bit of a giveaway that it might be his salon, you know.
Because he's got
no hair, he's got glasses, he's got no reason, he's not having a perm, he's not looking at a colour book, he's there just because he's there, and he's chatting to the receptionist. I'm with someone, he's having an interview there. But I'm sat there with them, and as I'm sat there, I'm buzzing just to be in the building. I'm in the building. It's like shaking with excitement. Oh my God, look at this place here. It's amazing. Like, all this going on here in the city centre. You're on King Street. You got this and this. You've got all this, your own training academy. You got this and all going on. Like, I will work here for free. I'd work here for free. So they gave me a job there and then. So the person that I'm with went for the interview. They got turned down. They got told as we're walking back down King Street. I said to them, how'd you get on? They said, oh, they're going to let me know. That line from a bit earlier, they're going to let me know. And I had to look at them and go, oh, I start on Monday. So I got their job. I even realised it. So I had to go back and explain the situation, you know, and off we went to them. We're there for a chunk of time. Little place, yeah. Little place.
Brilliant.
Big place. A big place.
And obviously, when I met you had your own place, your own...
Yeah.
And you've moved a couple of times within the Ribble Valley, but you were always hot on, I suppose because of your passion. Like, social media was a big thing to you as soon as it came out.
Huge.
Facebook, Google.
Huge. Yeah.
You really went hell for leather with that. I mean, I don't know how many thousands of reviews you've got, but you really, really did.
Yeah. When Facebook first came out, we hit it big and hit it lucky. And I think it's because of the location we were in. Like, we were in a farm in the middle of nowhere. Facebook would just become a thing. And we entered the competition just because we just happened to be in this competition where we'll be doing opportunity to win, doing a front cover shoot for Vogue. And there's ourselves a little humble salon on a farm in the middle of Warrington on Backridge Farm. And we just got pipped to the post by a national chain. This is a social media competition. we got pipped to the post by a national chain in Scotland called Chains to do it. And they beat us by 7 votes. So we're talking thousands of votes here, thousands of entrants, thousands of things. And this is just us, our little humble salon, taking on a major player, I mean, in Scotland, and just getting pipped at the post. And like, you go, it's like saying, it's like you said earlier about West End Liv, right? Where the stakes higher. But also, at least you went for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not disappointed to come second to a salon like that. You know, with the clientele and the multiple staff and multiple locations, like pretty much dominated the entire country. And then we take them on and just finish just about second. It's all right. At least went for it.
Yeah, and you built up a really good online reputation. And I'm sure I'm going to get the status for being one of your best clients somewhere.
You are one of the best.
Or,
no, but after this you are.
You just want a trophy.
No participation trophies.
Oh, that's so interesting. And you run P&J Partner because of your lovely wife.
My lovely wife, yeah. Jenny. Bless her. Bless her. Yeah, she's pretty cool.
I remember you getting married when you were out at the barn. It was a Christmas wedding, wasn't it? Ish?
Yeah. We're not quite Christmas. We're getting towards Christmas. It was like nice little rainy day. Nice little rainy day in the middle of the getting towards winter. And it was a really good special moment. That was a proper highlight in my life.
And that's why it's known as P&J
Partner,
you and
Paul and Jenny. Yeah. It'd be nothing around the table, would it? You know?
No, absolutely.
I mean, I thought it was PJ Palmer, and then I just thought it was your middle name. But that
and Paul and his greatness.
Yeah.
You have a massive love of Burnley Football Club. We need to touch on that in this episode.
Okay, all right, okay.
Because it's a pastime of yours, isn't it? And I guess that you'll have certain clients that you chat about Burnley with.
Yeah. It's a really cool thing because it's not even the football. It's nice to go with the kids. It's nice to spend time with the kids. It's nice to be with the kids and the family.
And how many children have you got?
4.
4.
But it's not just that time with the kids. There's a special thing that to me that happens in sporting events, at live events. And again, we could flip it back to the West End thing, where there's that shared commonality when something happens. Yeah. When you can literally look at someone, an incident might happen, and you might be sat next to a homeless person, before rows away, you saved up all year for that ticket to go watch that team. You might be sat next to somebody who's worth a few million or a few billion for a few rows further down. And that moment you make eye contact, you know what each other's thinking. I mean, that's like a priceless thing that you don't get in many things. You know, it's that moment where you're going,
it's a shared experience with the same outcome.
With somebody who you don't know. It's like a total stranger from rows and rows and rows away. You'll never see this person again, probably. Yeah. But for that moment in time, you share something special. It might not be special. It might be horrific. You might be getting relegated last day of the season. But it's like a shared moment, and that I think that's quite priceless. It's something you can't put a price on. Really,
I agree with that because I always think of it as in like we all have like the different teams in the different sports and everything, but overall, really, what everyone has a passion for is sport, and sport brings people together. Like, even you've got your bigger events like the Olympics, or if England football play, or England rugby, or anything like that, it brings countries together, and I think that's an amazing thing.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah. Like regions and countries and towns, and like I say, certain areas like rise and fall on the certain sports teams' success, like especially smaller teams, if they have a success, like a Burnley or a Bury, or not that ever happens. No, but when when your team has those areas, they thrive because the town's thriving and the area's thriving and people are buzzing. They've got that balance to them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't live in Burnley anymore. I live outside of Burnley, but like, it's nice to go back there and see like how the town's progressing and how the town's now doing, how it's and so on. It's so interlinked to what the sports happens in the area, and so on. The same, pretty much any town, any region.
Someone once was telling me about the different football stadiums, because Burnley's still very much in the heart of the town, isn't it? And that makes a difference to when they've sort of moved stadiums to out of town.
Yeah.
And it removes it from the community, and therefore it's hard to get people coming, and they've got a harder job, haven't they?
Yeah. Like, I think one of the cool things about places like Burnley and other towns or locations like that where the sports stuff's in the centre or towards the centre is it is the entire centre that gets involved. Like, it's not just a shopping complex on the edge of town that benefits from it. It's the pubs, the restaurants, the bars, the local barber, you know, the butchers might sell a few more burgers on that day or something. You know what I mean? It's like the vendors and so on. The entire areas in the centre thrive a bit more as opposed to just a shopping centre or a ring road or something about it. Like, thankfully, I've never really seen that from my perspective. Just it's interesting that you picked up on it. It's cool.
Yeah, it is interesting. Back to hairdressing, if we could, for a minute. How have you kept self-development at the forefront of what you've done? Because I know you're massive into reading, TED Talks, YouTube, podcast, learning.
That's why he's on the podcast.
I am the podcast. I think just having an interest in anything, like just a general curiosity and interest in anything is really good for development. Like, it doesn't have to be something that you even know about. I'm interested in whatever that area is. You're not to be specific on one particular area, but if you've got interest, if something crops up that someone recommends sometimes, I know you guys have it, where somebody you think is quite interesting will mention something that's interesting to them, so you then look into it. I'm not an aeroplane person whatsoever, but someone came in yesterday about the Lancaster Bombers. You know, so straight away you're online looking at Lancaster. So you just always learn all the time and picking up these things.
I think what you're saying is you're probably quite curious.
Oh, yeah. The curiosity about people is what it is. You're curious about people and what makes them tick and how they're thinking, why they think of something that way. You know, what makes them believe this particular way. You know, not to have an opinion on it, but like, why does this person here believe this particular, say, side of politics or as opposed to this side? Why the anti this is supposed to pro that? And it's to never have an opinion. It's just having an understanding. When you have an understanding of something, you can then make those connections a bit better. And you might learn something that interests you in, that pulls you in a different direction. You know, what about you?
Well, I was just going to say, do you think that makes you a better hairdresser? Like, the way that you are interested in, like, people, and obviously people skills is a big part of hairdressing. You speak to a lot of people. Do you think that makes you a better hairdresser?
I don't know. I don't think so. But I don't know, because I can't compare it, to be fair. I can't compare it. Because you find the people interesting, but one of the feelings that's your cool is when earlier you said you like being with me. Yeah. So if you like being with me, that means obviously it's reciprocated. So I don't know if it makes me a better hairdresser. It might be more interesting.
Yeah, like a better
I'm still blagging it with hair.
Yeah, but it's like a better experience with you because you actually ask questions, but I think the better thing is that you actually care about the answer. Whereas most maybe I don't know, I've not been to every hairdresser in the world, but like they ask you a question, it's more like a robot. They ask it to everyone and they don't really care about the answer. They're just asking it to fill up time.
Yeah, but if you go to a restaurant, would you rather be served by someone who's interested in stuff or just serving you a meal? You know, it's like any industry, isn't it? Like, little voices are just the same way. you want to be around people who are interested in things. Luckily over the years, you get to meet people who are interested in things, and it becomes a vicious cycle where if you come across someone who's not very interesting, then they don't stick with you and vice versa, because you got to get on with that person. You have a bit of a vibe with them, as they say on TikTok. The vibe.
What would you go back and tell your younger self? What piece of advice would you give?
Well, you moved on quickly.
Paul?
We were still in that conversation then.
I'm not interested enough for you. What would I tell my younger self? Enjoy it while you can. Enjoy it while you can. It doesn't last long at all, does it? Even before you realise it, it's gone. That naffness of being young where you're wanting to grow up so quick.
No.
Just enjoy it.
Enjoy it, yeah.
Enjoy every day. Don't wish it away. Don't be wishing for college to start or what the next step is. Just enjoy the day.
Oh, totally. Enjoy it. Like Paul, enjoy this time. It's going to go. And before you realise it, you have kids, you have bills. You have proper problems. Not like what, not is my washing dry. No, it's going to be proper problems. Yeah, definitely. Just enjoy it.
That's so good. That's a good piece of advice. Any sort of teacher or mentor that's been on your journey?
There's a couple. Well, there's a couple, but one thing that I think totally changed my trajectory in life is a school teacher I once had. I think he's no longer with us, called Mr. Thompson, I think. Well, I know he's called Mr. Thompson, but I think he's passed away a long time ago. And he was a teacher that was really kind to me. Honestly, just kind. No reason behind it whatsoever. He was just kind. In school, he's the kind teacher that would let me go into class a bit early to just get out of the way or encourage me. You couldn't do this nowadays. Like you see me walking through town sometimes, and he'd pick me up. And he used to have this thing where he'd say, "Finest keepers," and I'd be sat in the back seat of his car, and he'd be like 50p or a pound. He was just generally kind. Which just made such a difference, like to have someone in your life that's just kind, for nothing other than just being kind.
Yeah.
It's important.
Really important.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing there's no motive behind.
No.
Like sometimes I feel like people are maybe like kind because they have like an agenda behind it or something like that, but it's nice just be kind for being kind.
Well, we went to Wales with this one time. Obviously, for me, it's a little bit financial, but when I was younger, I went to South France for school on a school trip, and we couldn't really afford it, but we managed to get there on it, and I didn't have any spending money on this trip at all. Other people did. They had spending money. So Miss Thompson just used to give me some money from each day, just a couple of. I don't even know what the currency was back in pound back then.
Franc.
Yeah. So a few francs each day. Out of his own money, I presume. Just to be nice, just so that you didn't feel like you didn't fit in. You were just a genuinely nice person.
That's all.
He's a well-nice chap.
I like that. What have you taken away from this week's episode?
Don't ask me that, Mum. You always ask me, and I always just have this one's just been really good.
It's kind of the question you want to come back to later, isn't it? What have you come back to when you thought about it?
I need to think. I've just been in the conversation.
There's been no conversation with me. It's me.
I mean, we've only really touched on your story. We've only sort of touched the surface, haven't we, in terms of going into a profession. Have you ever felt that it was very female heavy and worried by that or concerned by that?
No. I think when you with this industry, when you first get into it, it's just generally female heavy anyway. That's just the way it is. But then what then happens is a bloke who gets into this industry gets into it because he's doing it as a job. And sometimes women do it because it's something to do. I'm not being horrible to women hairdressers because there's some amazing ones out there. I know loads of them. But generally, if you're into hair and beauty, generally you do it until something better comes along. You might go into, say, social care or something like that, or nursing or something, or until you have a family, or until you just fall by the wayside, just give it up altogether. Whereas a bloke generally goes into this because he's doing it, and then by default, as years go on, there's more and more of it. So they're more committed to it because they have to be, otherwise you doing hairdressing for? You know,
Yeah.
you're doing hairdressing. Don't be nervous.
Like, you really have to, like, love it in, like, a real passion for it.
Yeah, definitely.
And to build a career through it.
Well, that's what they're the people that generally make it a career, like a forever career. Like most of the hairdressers that I know, if you're down the road, are generally male as they get towards the end of the career. They're the ones that have done it for 20, 40, 50, 60 years because it's all they know. They just know hair. Whereas women can generally, from hairdressing, fit into other things quite easily. Don't mean to say they should, but
Yeah.
it's generally what happens.
How interesting. And our final question, I suppose, of our podcast series is always a school run memory. I mean, you've given us a bit of a flavour of school and being, in your football kit and getting your first job and how that rolled. How did you get to school? And is there anything that stands out on your school run memory? The reason we do the memory, Paul, is because obviously it's called The School Run.
Yeah.
We shape every episode with somebody's memory. And we've had some great ones, some sad ones, some happy ones, some hilarious ones. People go by bus, by foot, by train, by car. What was your school run like, and what's the memory
we
like?
Used to have we used to have this path down towards school. I used to walk to school with my friends, and this path called the Ash Path. Right? We would walk down the Ash Path, which is near the canal, which was also near the train track, which is for a 14-year-old boy is a cool place to be. Not recommending it at all, but that was like the route that we used to go down. So we used to go down there, and we just hang around. They're walking to and from school, getting to all sorts of mischief, skimming stuff on the canal, playing chicken with a train. And you sort of recommend that. But it was like mad things which we just wouldn't recommend. I'm gusting mad kids did it. Which now they're listening to this, they will be doing it. And they can't say anything to them, kind of. Right. Yeah, but also with my kids, when with the school run with them, I never, because I was younger when we had kids, I never appreciated it. I'm so nice to that YouTube have these school runs and these podcasts and so on, where you go an hour and a half trip each way. Because when you're a young parent, you're too much in a rush to get to drop the kids off for the childcare, to go to school, to go do something busy. And I did pretty much 2 school runs really, where there were one with Oliver when we were in Waddington and the farm in the middle of nowhere. But down the road from there was his school. It was probably too close because I was all that last parent to school. So it wasn't really a school run. Last minute, he'd be there outside the yard in the rain by himself, waiting for me again. Yeah, I'm the one that's closest. So I fitted one more job or one more person or whatever it was.
One more phone call,
one more job. Quick, get this post on Facebook, get a few more likes. But then with Theo, it was different because we live close to school with him. But I went through a period of poor health, which meant I had more time off school. So I used to just enjoy that time more. So I got to enjoy those a bit more. So on the way over, I was thinking about this actually. To this day, I still take Theo to school sometimes. And now I live and work in different towns, and school is near home. Or home is near work now in my case. So to this day, Theo can catch the bus at home and he can go to school. We drops him off outside the school door, so door to door. But I still take him to school in a different town, just for that time that might be quiet, might be fun, might be a conversation about Burnley right back. Something really, really cool. It'd be enough, but just that time together. I really enjoy that time in the car, that half an hour there and back. So it's the point where I actually make the time to do that run now when I don't even need to.
Yeah. It's an important thing. And, although our school run has come to an end over in Clitheroe and Liv's going to college not far away, that time we had together, whilst the journey was long and tedious at times, we've had these shared experiences and we've had these amazing conversations which we wouldn't have had.
It's the time thing, isn't it? It's that time together.
Yeah.
And even you appreciate it. I even now say, even though I don't need to do it, Theo doesn't need me to do it, I start in the morning, I'll say, are you taking to school today? That's that. You don't get that back.
No,
and I
and
wish we
you've
were
got
better
to cherish it. So if you are that parent who's like, come on, get out the door, I've got to get to it, but cherish that time going because it goes so fast.
Well, it's because of you that I'm actually probably enjoying it more now because of the conversation that you two have had back and forth an hour off each way. That now I'm aware that I'm getting to the end of it where I won't be doing it anymore. It's like, oh, okay, let's do it.
Really ring fence that time because
it.
It's gone in a flash.
That's probably what I will also recommend to my younger self too. That when you start the schoolroom, enjoy it.
Enjoy it. What a great comment to end on. Thank you for joining us on the schoolroom this week. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the School Run podcast. If this is your first time listening, please go back and maybe listen to a few other episodes that we've previously recorded. There's lots of interesting topics, people's different roles and careers. We're sharing all of these stories to inspire and empower young people. That's our reason why. You don't have to have it all figured out at school. My co-host Liv is my 15-year-old daughter, and I just keep telling her that school is just a small chapter of life, and there's so much out there if you just say yes to those opportunities. You don't have to have it figured out at school. We're privileged to be having these conversations, and we're really thankful to our guests for coming on. Please would you hit the follow button on the podcast channel that you're listening to us on. This will really help us to grow and improve the podcast long term. It'd be lovely if you could write us a review on the podcast that you listen to us on and maybe give us a star rating. Lots of people have already bought us a virtual coffee so that we can have some chats and plan the content going forward. The link is www.buymeacoffee.com/the school run. www.buymeacoffee.com/the school run. And as Liv has already told you in the middle of this episode, we do have an Instagram, the school run _official, and we also have a LinkedIn showcase page. Would you just share this podcast if you've enjoyed it with one other person today? That would really help us. Thank you so much. Don't forget to click that follow button, and we'll see you again next Monday at 6 a.m.